Hello everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Alex and today we'll be doing a rundown on our favorite one-shotting, rage-inducing jailbait, Zoe. Yeah, I know, I made a video about Zoe last year. I get it. Remaking content, like not really that great, but obviously things have changed over time since I made that video, and there's still some good info in that video, but because I'm a perfectionist, I look at that video the same way I look at my LP gains this season, with depression, disappointment, and indigestion. Ever since she was released, I've been a fan of Zoe's playstyle and abilities. Season 11 hasn't been much of an upgrade to her power, but she still has the same one-shot potential that we all know and love. So if you're new to the game or just wanting to pick up a new champion, then stick around and hopefully we won't make jokes about Zoe being 1,000 years old and single. FBI, open up! Starting off the skills with Zoe's passive. Her passive is called More Sparkles. After casting the ability, your next basic attack deals extra magic damage and becomes a small laser that can go through Yasuo's wind wall. Your Q is called Paddle Star. On the first cast, you shoot out a star that deals damage to the first enemy it hits. The damage it deals increases with the distance traveled, and if the star doesn't hit anything initially, it will sit around for a second, giving you the chance to recast the ability and redirect the star. Now, just remember that this resets the damage modifier of the star for the distance and all that jazz. So his W is called Spell Thief. When an enemy champion uses a summoner spell or item active, a spell shard will drop. You can pick up these shards and use the abilities they give you. Minions that have little balloons on them can also drop random spell shards. When you activate these Spell Thief abilities, Zoe gets bonus movement speed and gets through orbiting bubbles that deal magic damage. Zoe's E is called Sleepy Trouble Bubble. You kick a bubble that bursts on the first enemy hit, and if it doesn't hit an enemy, it plops onto the ground and creates a trap. Now, enemies that are hit or walk over the trap take damage and start to fall asleep. They're short second and being slowed down, the enemy will fall asleep for a couple seconds. The next instance of turret or champion damage that isn't damage over time will deal extra true damage. True damage? True damage. Extra true damage. Jeez. An important part of the bubbles is its ability to travel through terrain. Your bubble will travel infinitely through any one piece of terrain, and once it leaves and it hasn't hit anything, it drops onto the ground, creating the trap. Also, don't forget that if you're shooting blind, like into the fog of war, and you hit someone, when someone starts falling asleep and then they fall asleep, once they fall asleep, you can see little butterflies where the target has gone the fuck to sleep. Zoe's ult is called Portal Jump. You teleport a fixed distance in a direction and then teleport back. You can cast abilities, use summoner spells, and auto attack while portal jumping, and also use item actives as well. Something to keep in mind is that the teleport under no circumstances can be stopped. You will always port back to your original position. Now, that doesn't stop Urgot from yanking you away after you teleport back, but it's something useful to know in case you get stunned while you're teleporting and stuff like that. Alright, as for runes, we're only going to stick to Domination as our main tree. There's nothing really else we get out of other things. You could take Comet, stuff like that, but we're really just going to talk about two keystones that I personally enjoy, and they both have their merit in my opinion. Electrocute provides nice early game trading damage and can pick off people later in the game. Really, Electrocute's poor late game scaling doesn't matter much when you're throwing literal nukes at people's anuses. The other keystone we can choose is Dark Harvest. While you won't have the nice early game damage that Electrocute gives you, late game, people literally don't exist to you. Really, you see someone, you sing a little lullaby to them, they fall asleep, and then you drop a mountain. Another thing, if you plan on buying Corrupting Pot, you don't always have to go Time War Tonic. Now, it does synergize very well, yes, but if you aren't going to take a lot of poke damage early game, but you still want the Corrupting Pot sustainability through mana and health and stuff, then taking more useful runes like Mana Flow and Transcendence or Gathering Storm would probably serve you better. Now, you might be asking, Alex, there has to be more to build on Zoe than just Ludens. I mean, there's all sorts of items you can build, right? Well, my LP deficient friend, you would be absolutely 100% wrong, you peasant! And Ludens is really our only option for a mythic. The only other mythic I'd consider is Leandry's, but that's only if there's a large surplus of tanks, like probably 3 or 4. Besides, you actually do considerable damage to tanks because your E does true damage, so you can get through most of their armor and stuff and magic resist because of that. After some experimenting, I'm really sold on Horizon Focus for a second or third item. I really enjoy the item. It synergizes really well with your one-shot combo and your kit, and ends up giving you a lot of damage. If you need defensive items early, like Zonya's of Banshees, that's completely fine. Otherwise, your next item will probably be Rabadon's. Now, something I like to mention is Cosmic Drive. It's going to be buffed, or already has been buffed since this video came out in patch 11.4, so it would be an amazing item on Zoe. it's still a very good choice currently and can be slotted into your build path if you really want the ability haste and movement speed that it gives. Also, the way I choose whether I'm going Dorns or Corrupting Pot is if I'm going to be doing a lot of trading with my opponent in the first few levels. So if I'm going to be a lot of heavy trading early, I'll take Corrupting Pot. If I'm going to chill and farm, not really trade very often, I'll probably take Dorns because it helps us CC and stuff like that. So in the early game, your wave clear is subpar. You most likely get pushed back early by most mid lane champions like Echo and Syndra and things like that who can clear pretty well and easily early on. So just focus on farming, getting in poke where you can. Try to aim for a Lost Chapter or double tomes on your first bag so that you can deal some decent damage to minions. When wave clearing, try to aim for the caster minions first. If you have a Lost Chapter early enough, you can actually just one-shot the backline easy, and then you can just kind of take care of the melee minions. Trading early game usually consists of you doing like auto Q combos, maybe sneaking an extra Q or extra auto in there. Because remember, when something interesting about the Q is that actually you cast it twice technically, so you get your passive procs twice for every cast. So you cast it once, you auto, cast it twice again to redirect the Q, auto again. That gives you a lot of decent damage. Also remember that you are strongest when you have a spell in your W slot, because without that you basically are only a 2-spell champion that deals damage. Having spells in your spell thief is probably the strongest you'll ever be, because you get access to things like Flash, or Exhaust, or Cleanse, or Ignite, or some random active item. So having those when you want to do trades or all-ins that's the time when you should probably do it. Now, when I use my E and how often I use it depends on who I'm against, and we'll cover that in the matchup section. It's kind of an important thing to use because it is your main and only CC ability and also a big part of your damage. So after the lane phase is over, hopefully you have a loot-ins or a complete item of some sort, maybe a Zonius if you're against an assassin. You'll want to look for picks with your E, using the terrain or just trying to hitting from like using your ultimate, hitting up the E. It's probably your most useful ability since it's not only a great CC and damage ability, but it also is a great zoning tool. So if you're doing Dragon, you can cut off paths into Dragon Pit and stuff like that. Just laying down the E is a big threat in itself because most people don't want to just walk into the Zoe E and take a million damage. Now I want to include a few tips about Zoe's abilities. Firstly, when you're using your Q will only expire if it goes too far beyond Zoe herself. She has like a ring around her. So if you walk with your Q, you can actually lengthen the distance it travels. So the rate, like there's a specific radius from Zoe that it has to leave before it expires and stuff like that. So like usual, we'll split this up into assassins and control mages for the matchups. Zoe can actually do very well into a lot of assassins. The strategy is basically never use your E until you must, like when they're right up against you. Don't throw it out randomly, don't try to get a cheeky poke with it, just hold it. You usually deal more damage than the person trading with you if you land all of your abilities, especially early game. So you can just clap them back when they try to trade with you and get some good damage in and make them not want to trade with you ever again. For example, if an Echo tries to E onto you, do the EQ auto combo, it does a lot of damage, but just throw bubble on him. He's like right in front of you. Like, you want to like aim it so that when he teleports to you, you hit it. But it's essentially the same thing for any other assassin like Talon or Keanu who have like a dash onto you. You know exactly where they're going to be. Now that doesn't mean you do well into all assassins. Diana can be pretty hard since her burst is fairly quick, plus her shield can dampen a lot of your damage. Zed can also be difficult since he doesn't really get close to you. He does a lot of poke from far away and does a lot of damage. However, you can do some outplays against him with your ult and your E because you know where he's going to be when he ults you and stuff like that. So just be aware that he can be a little bit tricky. Just hold on to the E. Holding the E is the most important thing. As far as control mages go, it comes down to how well you can dodge abilities. I said this before, but I'm gonna say it again. That's just the downright how it goes with control mages. The biggest advice I can give you for champions like Ahri, Lux, Vel'Koz, etc. is don't use your ult too much. Anyone with any experience can take advantage of your fixed position and return during your portal jump and get some CC off. It's really easy. Like Ahri can just wait. She can try to dodge your abilities. If she has her ult, she dodges your Q, your E, and then she knows exactly where you're going to be. She'll dash over to you, hit the charm, and just kill you. That doesn't mean never use your ult, but just be aware of how they can take advantage of your unfortunate circumstance. So, and just for some bans that I choose usually for when I play Zoe, Yone, Fizz, or Anivia, those are my 3 top bans for Zoe. Yone Yeah, he's just really good into most champions. His E is better than your ulti, so he's much safer to play, especially when he hits level 3. He's kind of hard to deal with, and he cleanses with his E your bubble, so even if you land the bubble on him, he cleanses it with his E. Fizz doesn't care about your abilities, obviously. He's super mobile champion, then gets you no matter what. It doesn't matter if you dodge with your ult or anything. And even hitting with the charm, he can just flip onto the stick and avoid a bunch of damage. And Anivia, also really difficult. Level 6, she pushes you away. She'll hold onto her Q until you ulti. She can time that perfectly, and she does a lot of damage. So they'll probably give you the most trouble, in my opinion. And that's it. That's all I can tell you about Zoe for this time. Hopefully you'll find it fun to completely disappear a person off the face of the planet and come to love ropes and yo-yos. Zoe's one of my favorite champions in League, and I really hope you find her enjoyable as well. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to see some more content like this, like League of Legends guides and gameplay videos that I make, then hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell if you want to get notified when I upload a video. Also, I have Discord and Twitch. I stream every weekday, Monday through Friday, and also join the Discord if you like to start. I want to, join a little small community. I'm trying to build it up and start doing events and stuff on there as soon as more people join. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.